First maze, Beige. Without warning, Ambra's mind regressed. However, she was unaware it had, as she had no memory of her life, and little in the way of capacity for language or abstract thinking. She heard a rushing river engorged with meltwater from the snow around it. She was in a forest clearing surrounded by enormous trees and boulders, the river nearby. She shivered and pulled the thick fur she was wearing closer about her body. There was no one else about. Feeling thirst, she took water from the river. Feeling hunger, she gathered and ate what looked edible in the environment around her, meagre as it was. Suddenly, a fearsome beast crashed into her clearing. Responding on instinct, Ambra stood stock still, though her heart was pounding. It was many, many times bigger than her, with a thick shaggy coat and enormous carved tusks. Across the clearing, Ambra spied a narrow opening in a low cliff. She made a run for it, leaping over a fallen tree, knowing that she would draw the attention of the beast. It trumpeted and came lumbering after her. Ambra dove into the cave entrance head first, beating the beast by seconds. It snorted into the cave entrance but could not enter or get at her. She moved to the far end of the cave and waited for it to leave. At last, silence. Water dripped from somewhere in the cave's depths. Ambra caught her breath. As the adrenaline subsided and her eyes adjusted, she noticed some markings on the cave wall at the entrance. She inched her way forward and peered at the now clear cave entrance. There was no sign of the beast. Turning her attention to the markings, she saw a series of images depicting human-like figures in small groups, but many more people than her immediate clan. Together, they were fighting a beast not unlike the one she had just encountered. The last picture in the series caught her attention. It showed a defeated beast, a human tribe of greater numbers, triumphant over their much bigger predator. A sudden sensation of being watched made her whirl around, and she saw the huge eye of the beast looking at her in her cave. She backed away and hoped it would leave before dark. Then the cave lost all light. The beast's entire mouth was over the cave entrance as it tried to force its way in. It roared, its hot, foul breath hitting Ambra's nostrils. She watched, petrified as the beast began to smash away parts of the cave entrance. There was nowhere to run. There was no way she could defeat the beast and survive in this world on her own or in her small clan. Just as the entire front of the cave collapsed, with the beast's head above her, backlit by the late afternoon sun, the world dissolved again. She was back in the empty cave with its beige lanterns glowing. Ambra gasped and inhaled lungfuls of air. Shaking her head, she began grasping at the corners of her mind to recall what had happened, like trying to remember a dream she'd woken from. Sitting in the quiet, dark cave, she tried to gather her thoughts and calm her nerves. Not since the big wave had she felt in such mortal danger. The entrance to MAGE is protected by a maze comprising 7 virtual challenges, Justine had said. Had she just been experiencing and fighting an illusion? There were scratches on her hands, though, sustained as she dove to get away from the beast. The simulations might be just illusions, but it seemed the potential for injury was all too real. As her eyes adjusted, she looked around. There was a tunnel leading from the cave that hadn't been there before. There seemed to be no other option but to enter. After a short time, she emerged into a second, slightly bigger cave, also lit with beige lamps. Then slowly, almost imperceptibly, the lamps illuminating the cave began to change colour. They took on an ochre hue, then deepened to a rich purple. The world around her dissolved again.